Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. Enjoy the video. Hey YouTubers, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super theory slash speculation video. This one guys is gonna be pretty wild. So you guys saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. You know I wouldn't do this wild of a fan theory without my buddy, the other half of a dynamic duo, MJ. Why don't you say hello to everyone, man?
Remember, guys, this is just a theory. Don't destroy us and flame us in the comment section. Be open-minded. Exactly. Be open-minded.
Exactly. And this is crazy, man. I thought of it. You said you were thinking somewhere around the same line, so I think you and I have at least an idea of where this is going. I hope everyone enjoys it. But with that being said, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. What if Jiren and Toppo are the same person? So you and I have done a video about this later, a couple months back. I did a video about this really recently, kind of a follow-up to it. That's what got me thinking. You know, these two guys from the very beginning have always felt like they're part of the same person. You know, they were written to be one person, and then eventually someone higher up, or Toriyama, Toritaro, somebody was like, hey, why don't we have this person be two people? And they're like, but, you know, there's only enough personality for one person. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just make one of them really strong. It's like, okay, that's fine. What if there's actually an explanation for this? What if Toppo and Jiren are the same person, but there's a legitimate explanation from the series proper that would explain this? And I just want to say, I want to get everyone to go back to not only Dragon Ball days, Dragon Ball Z days, and also the Dragon Ball movies to explain this is exactly, at least in my opinion, what we've seen with Kami and Piccolo throughout the first part of Dragon Ball, where they explain that Kami once was one being separated into two beings because of the god ritual that he needed to do in order to become the guardian of Earth, but he had to purge himself of all of the things that made him incapable of doing the job. What if, because Toppo just recently went through a god transformation where he let himself go to this power, what if Toppo did the same thing and released Jiren from his own body? That's why Jiren looks kind of indiscriminate. He doesn't really look like anything that we've ever seen before. Kind of just a bland looking character, muscle bound, has this unbelievable strength. It's because he's not really a character. He's not showing an idea of who he is because he's not really a person. And I have some thoughts about how I can prove this, or how they might be subtly hinting at this, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this right before we do that. MJ, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it makes sense. We've seen it before. It's not like it's something that is going to be coming out of nowhere. You know, that's what a lot of people like to throw around is the butt pulls in Dragon Ball Super. But we've already seen something like this. And I think in a way it kind of might make some sense, because the whole idea with them in the anime revealing that Toppo is a god of destruction candidate, and at least in the anime version, because it was revealed in the manga earlier, but it seems like the anime wanted to keep it a secret. Which, of course, you can't really do that with spoilers, episode summaries. But they wanted to keep it a secret, which I actually applaud, because I think this tournament really does need some plot twist. You know, it really does need something to keep you on the edge of your seat. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, the idea that they recently revealed that, I can definitely see something being revealed, like in what, 128, 129, possibly, like, I don't know if they would word it this way, but, you know, when something happens, you know, like maybe, you know, Toppo and Jiren are fighting Goku and Vegeta like in sync, like almost like in perfect harmony, and then maybe you have that Supreme Kai, you know, I think his name's Kai or something. You have him go smirking. They were once the same person, you know, and he expelled something to become, you know, the God Destruction candidate, and everyone, Nani? You know what I mean? And then of course you have Piccolo do the flashback, you know, like to Kami. I think that would be something that they would be really cool to do. I mean, like I said, it makes sense. We've seen it before. You have obviously some statements and stuff that we've seen in the series to kind of prove this, but yeah, we've seen it before. Makes sense to me.
I mean, I completely agree, but let's get into those statements and all those things that would somewhat support this. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, the very first time that we saw Jiren, they actually switched him out for Toppo in the preliminary matches, and that really kind of took a lot of people off. You and I were debating about that. You know, we were talking about that a lot back in the day, and we were trying to figure out why do they do that? It just kind of feels ridiculous and redundant where you introduce this one character, you know this Jiren guy is going to be the main threat of this next arc, but yet you introduce Toppo. Are you trying to build suspense and anticipation? Well, they didn't really do that, right? And they've really given a lot more character development to Toppo than anyone else, primarily because of that preliminary fight. So that was one thing that really started getting my thoughts rolling. Like, why is this something that we saw? But then throughout the tournament, we just keep seeing all of these little things that point to maybe this is what they're trying to do here. They're being very sneaky. They're not giving it away. And it would just blow my mind. I want to just, okay, so obviously when they first mentioned Jiren, Toppo says, you know, if you can't beat me, or you could barely just beat me, you can't beat Jiren. This guy is a lifelong friend. And okay, that's fine. He's in the Pride Troopers, but for whatever reason, again, Toppo is leading the Pride Troopers. It's not Jiren, this guy who's unbelievably strong, stronger than God to Destruction, everything else like that. Maybe, just maybe, they were once the same person until very recently in that 2-day span between the preliminaries and the Tournament of Power. And then you get to see them talking about the Pride Troopers right before all of this, saying, hey, you know, maybe we need Jiren to fight for us. And he goes, yeah, but Jiren's training. And that scene, if you watch it really closely, you have Toppo, camera completely focused on him, cutting directly to Jiren, literally meditating in a void of darkness, as if he doesn't have anything around him. He's simply in Toppo's head, you know? Maybe he wasn't really a living being until very recently, and Toppo was like, okay, maybe I need to bring out this entity inside of me so I can give myself up to the God of Destruction level, releasing the God of Destruction power, because I no longer have this influence inside of me that's all about power, like Jiren is. You know, like I said, Jiren has been searching for power. He wants to get that which lies beyond strength. He still has that wish that we don't know. Maybe Toppo needed to purge himself of all of that in order to actually become a God of Destruction, where it's no longer about justice, it's no longer about survival, it's about everything else. It's about simply doing the job and being stronger than everyone. And then there's so many other things where you have the Margarita Angel character who, for whatever reason, going against all the logic in Dragon Ball Super, doesn't know who Jiren is. Even when the series opened up with Beerus being completely ignorant of almost everything going on in his universe, but yet Whis understands, knows, and has on videotape all of the greatest feats, including Goku fighting Frieza. And that was also shown again in the Champa arc, where you got Vados going out all over the place and recruiting these people on Champa's request. She knew, Whis knew about all the major players in their respective universes. For whatever reason, Margarita doesn't, and that's always been really weird to me. What are your thoughts on those?
It is weird, and I know people are going to be bringing this up in the comment section, but I wanted to discuss the manga real quick before we get back to this theory. The one thing that really does hurt this theory, Mark, is Toyotaro's presentation of introducing Jiren. And what I mean by this is, you have Toppo, who literally, I think, comes straight from the Zen exhibition match, and he goes straight to wherever Dispo and some of the other Pride Trooper members are at. And then they fight that monster, and then Dispo asks where Jiren is, and supposedly Jiren's like saving a galactic prison on some Superman stuff, right? And then Jiren comes and saves them. Well, before that, before Jiren shows up, it cuts to Vermouth, it cuts to Supreme Kai, or at least Universe 11 Supreme Kai, and it cuts to Margarita. Sweet Margarita. And they're discussing, and the way they discuss about Jiren is as if they've known him for a long time already. Like Vermouth's like, I'm pretty sure he won't participate, but if I mention the Dragon Balls, I can bait him into doing this. And then Supreme Kai's like, he sounds like a villain. You know, and then he's just like, don't do that. We're trying to ensure our universe's survival. And the whole time, Margarita is just like, Nani, like listening to them talking. And I just find that incredibly weird, because it's like, you have Dispo, some of the other lower Pride Trooper members, Supreme Kai, Vermouth, all of them know Jiren, yet she doesn't know. And it's like, at least in my opinion, the way the story is always presented, at least with Champa, and to Beerus too, like 99% of the time we see them, they're always with their angels. You know what I mean? So I don't get, like, if there was some ritual, why wasn't she invited? Like, why were some Pride Trooper members who were like so weak they can't even fight Kel? Why were they invited to this, and why do they know about Jiren and yet she doesn't? That's just something I always found weird. But again, I just wanted to bring up that manga that manga stuff, because I know some people probably bring it up in the comment section, and that is something that is weird. And even though the manga and anime do differ, Mark, they still follow within the same lore. At least, I guess, if you want to say that. So, I don't know, that is just weird overall. The whole idea with Margarita not knowing who Jiren is, yeah, I'm with you on that. It's really, really weird, and it's kind of like, they kind of put a wrench into what we're supposed to think the angels are, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, and that to me has always kind of felt like something that was either intentional, wholly intentional, or completely redundant, not really needed in the entire story. I want Jiren to be this person that no one knew about, this one thing that Toppo had to rid himself of. That to me would give some semblance of personality, not only to Toppo, it would make us be way more sympathetic about Toppo, but maybe even Jiren. Like, maybe this guy didn't really want to come out, and now he's just this amalgam of bad-hearted emotions, someone who wants this wish of his, who's like Goku, who wants to get stronger, doesn't know his place in the world, but knows that he's stronger than everyone else around him, so he doesn't really care, and he's ambivalent about everything else that he has to deal with in his entire life. So yeah, he goes around, he fights for justice, he does all this stuff, but he's not really okay with it, and that's exactly, and you know what, even if you want to jump into, yeah, the manga is a little bit different from here. Maybe it didn't happen in the last 2 episodes, the last 2 days or so before the Tournament of Power. Maybe this happened a long time ago. Toppo has been training under Belmont for a very long time. At least that's what we're supposed to interpret. Maybe he did rid himself of Jiren, and Jiren has just been sitting around like waiting for something to do this entire time while Toppo is trying to become the God of Destruction. Look, it doesn't make a lot of sense that Jiren is not really a justice-seeking guy. He doesn't really go over the top with it like everyone else in the Pride Troopers. It also doesn't make a lot of sense that he's not the God of Destruction candidate. I guess you could sit there and say, yeah, he doesn't want it, but why doesn't he want it? Why can't he have it? All these other questions that we're probably not going to get in the Tournament of Power or before the end of Dragon Ball Super. This would be a really easy explanation as to show why he can't have both of those things, because he's simply not really his own person, and he has the mentality that Toppo had to literally rid himself of in order to get into both of those positions, making them friends, making Jiren stronger than Toppo, even weakening Toppo, but allowing Toppo to introduce this new power that we saw in the last episode. Plus, let's not forget that Dragon Ball Super, it didn't need to, but it reaffirmed and reintroduced the concept that Piccolo is now fused with Kami and Nail in the last couple episodes. Maybe that was for a reason, just a visual reminder that says, remember this had to happen for Kami to actually become the protector of the world. Maybe they're doing the same thing here with Toppo, and that's just what Jiren is. I would be totally down for it. I feel like it would completely redeem, at least in my eyes, Jiren's character, and give him at least some perspective arc for the future after fighting Goku, and maybe through fighting Goku, finding his place in the world finally.
If this arc doesn't end with Jiren getting his wish and he wishes to be back inside Toppo, pause, and then they play "What is Love?" Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. I'm just kidding. No, I think that's cool. Like I said at the beginning of this video, it makes sense. We've seen this before. It's something that we're already used to and that we know of. And also, I thought of something when you were talking. In the anime, Herms pointed out that it was Makarita who mentioned for Toppo to show the fruit of their training, kind of implying that he was trained by Makarita, at least in the anime version. So again, it goes back to, how in the heck does she not know who Jiren is? It's like...
Yeah, like, I don't really understand it, and there's so many things here that would indicate that this is exactly what they're going for. It's something I would completely love in the long haul of all this. Jiren would be a very sympathetic character. Toppo has already proven himself to be an amazing character in this arc, and it would give a lot more depth, a lot more meaning, tie us back to logic that was established in the very first series, and a great way to end the entire Tournament of Power and Dragon Ball Super in general with this idea. Plus, both of our last 2 main guys fighting, it needs to be said, if they're one and the same person, it's literally Goku and Vegeta going up against the God of Destruction, which this whole series started with. So I could totally live with this. I think it would be great.
No, yeah, I completely agree with you on that. I think you brought up a lot of good points, and I think it would be something cool to see. I mean, again, as of right now, it's just a theory, but it'd be interesting to see where the story goes in these last few episodes, you know?
Exactly. So guys, please make sure to go down to the description section below, hit that link, and go subscribe to MJ. The guy makes some top-notch quality content, anime discussions, Dragon Ball discussions. You cannot miss his versus battles. Those are freaking amazing. And also, pretty frequent streams. Is going to start streaming a little bit more, so please make sure to go support him. Go check out the channel if you haven't already. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, comment, and to subscribe onto this channel. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button. Share this video out to all your friends so they can share their thoughts and opinions as well, because this isn't just a discussion between MJ and myself. It's also y'all. Whatever thoughts that y'all have on this, anything that we missed here, please share them in the comment section. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. It's been real.